tip-off against Tassos Kamateros in the all-name tip-off there. You like that? Sartside and Kamateros tipping things off here in Grand Forks.
We'll just go with the big fellas, but they are very skilled, and I do believe that they're going to be a big part of what they do tonight for both of these teams on offensive and defense.
Starting lineup brought to you by All True. Good defense there underneath by Matt Norman. As Cruz Peril Hunt went to work. High off the window for Bruns. He's got his first two.
You have to love that level of aggression for UND. Getting the stop, something that they've been struggling with, and then scoring in transition. A great sign for UND right off the bat.
All True starting lineups for South Dakota. Peril Hunt 0 for 2, and a foul is going to be called underneath. And they're going to get Suker as he was trying to box out.
I like both teams aren't settling here. They want to get to the front of the rim. Both have had opportunities to pull up and shoot threes. They're passing them up. They're going to live in that paint tonight. Quick turnaround from the last game. Good energy to start this game.
See Suker all over Archambault. Kamateros setting the screen for Anderson. Strong drive inside, left it a little bit short. Coyotes 0 of 3 to start here in the early going. Norman for 3, yes.
Well, UND is really operating with a sense of urgency on that offensive end. They're putting a lot of pressure on South Dakota's defense right now, and they're finding some nice opportunities early in the shot clock.
Anderson, Kamateros, and Sartside. That's going to be an interesting matchup here tonight between the two bigs.
Two guys that are maybe a little undersized by Division I standards, but are very skilled.
And there's the first two for South Dakota. Goodrick puts it in.
Goodrick's a nice player there with the left off the glass. He's tough. He's a tough matchup for really any team because he has that ability to put the ball on the floor and knock down outside shots.
Norman fires again, and Kamateros able to save it from going out of bounds and gets it up to Anderson. Goodrick, that 15-point performance. Suker trying to body him up and avoid that second foul and back-to-back buckets. And Goodrick.
You're right, no doubt about that. That second foul was looming large as he was playing defense there. And anytime that you give a Division I basketball player that many dribbles in the post, they become very hard to guard.
Suker back in the other end. Had a pretty good look. Just kind of rolled off his palm. And there is a ball that came out of the stands onto the floor. So Mark Riggs blowing it dead, and they will inbound it. Brady Danielson getting set to check in here for UND. Anyway, take a look at Paul Sather in his third season, 15-year head coaching career, 310 wins all time.
That suit jacket didn't stay on for very long. You know, he's ready to go as well, right with his players. He does a great job of setting the tone, navigating the ups and downs through any season, really.
Here comes Brady Danielson, who played really well offensively. He's always been a good defender, good hard-nosed player, but the shots haven't always been consistently falling, but last weekend they did.
Yeah, I mean, if he's able to knock down that stand-alone jumper, that really adds another level to his game and just makes him that much more of a viable player. And there he is, right on cue with a nice steal.
Danielson's also drawn 9 offensive fouls this year to lead the team, so a guy that's not afraid to stick his nose in there. Panoam using the screen and hits the 3, and that's a welcome sight for North Dakota. Just 29% on the season for Panoam after finishing last season on such a hot streak from shooting the basketball. 42% from 3 a year ago.
And you know, he's capable of being a very good player. It's just sometimes confidence fluctuates.
Todd Lee in year number 4 at South Dakota. 28 and 22 was the associate head coach at Grand Canyon for 5 seasons, and we do want to pass along our condolences to Todd Lee. Lost his mother today, and certainly to Todd and his family. Kamateros drills the 3, and Tassos Kamateros has not shot a ton of threes, but is very capable, 36%, and has had some big games along the way.
Hey, he's capable of making those, and he makes the defense play him, and that just creates a little bit more spacing for their entire team.
We're going to get Archambault trying to work through a screen, and that'll be the first team foul on the Yotes. 3.5 minutes in. Here comes the freshman Brian Matthews from Chicago, Illinois.
Well, UND clearly understanding how important guarding the paint is. They're trying to keep those post players nice and fresh, keep them out of foul trouble. South Dakota is definitely pounding it in the post this game.
Ethan Bonago checking in. Panome trying to work around Anderson, and a foul is going to be called.
It's just a good job by Panome putting the ball on the floor, putting some pressure on that South Dakota defense. Not a tremendous breakdown there, but just not quite in legal guarding position.
Bonago working off a screen. Bruns, three-point attempts. A little bit strong. Goodrick up high for the rebound. Leading rebounder on this team. 7.5 boards on average per contest. Perro Hunt, lane opens wide, and he lays in an easy two.
Just a little miscommunication on the ball screen there. I believe Ethan thought that it was going to be hedged. It wasn't. The Red Sea parted, and it was an easy layup for two.
Bonago trying to use the screen. Goodrick with the switch. Bonago giving it up to Matthews. Good defensive possession so far. Shot clock down to 7. Bonago crossing over. Strong drive to the basket, using his body to create a little space. And Ethan Bonago has his first two.
Well, what was a good defensive possession for South Dakota there was sort of foiled at the end. Nice little crossover by Ethan, and you're right, using his body to create just the amount of separation that he needed to finish off the glass.
Boy, Panome has been chasing Archambault everywhere so far early. Kamateros with that right shoulder, working on the freshman Matthews. Good footwork in the paint, and Tassos Kamateros. Some fancy footwork and a nice soft touch off the glass.
And they're allowing him to play a little bit. Clearly, UND has decided to play that post one-on-one, and so far South Dakota's been able to make him pay.
And North Dakota defensive field goal percentage, 49.5%. 347th in the nation. Sartside has his first bucket, hanging and floating it in.
That really adds a component to their offense if he's able to score with his back to the basket. He's always had that skill. It just took him a little while to get the feel of this level coming from the junior college ranks last year.
Paul Sathord mentioned that. I felt like the JUCO players really started to settle in over the last couple of weeks as league play got started.
Well, it's a huge adjustment. It's a huge adjustment for a number of different reasons. But the speed of the game, the physicality can throw you off just enough. And there, Boogie Anderson does a great job of getting to his sweet spot right in the middle of the paint. That's where he likes to be. Sartsidze
guarded by Kamateros again. The two foreign products going at it. And Panome is going to fire another three. And Bentu Panome has 2 triples here early.
Great patience in the post to not force. Out of Sotne, kicking it back out to the relocating Bentu for 3. 2 big threes for him. He's an important part of their offense, and he has to get going. It looks like that's what's happening tonight.
Both teams sizzling so far. South Dakota 6 of 8 from the field. North Dakota 5 of 8. Perro Hunt creating space. Good challenge that time, and the rebound comes down to Panome. Panome working on Goodrick. Almost lost the handle. Sartsidze missed the jumper. Rebound for Goodrick. Quick rotation. Goodrick thought about the three a couple of times, and now he's going to shoot it. Another rebound for Panome. Bonago is going to fire a 3. Long rebound comes out to Suker. Bruns going to let it launch. North Dakota has not been shy. Casting from deep, already 7 3-point attempts here in the first 7 minutes of this game. Well, after a couple successful post-ups both ways here, both teams kind of selling for threes. I think they want to get back to what got them into this game and what got things started for both of them. Both teams not shy, casting from deep. Kamateros a little bit strong with that 3-point attempt. Bonago cut off, get to Sartsidze. Bonago, lane opens up around Fuller, lays it in. Well, that's the second tough drive of the night. He's known for shooting those threes, but tonight he's been very patient and very controlled when he puts the ball on the floor. Pardon me, Archambault, not Fuller. I'm so much Xavier Fuller. I just saw him sitting over here on the bench.
Well, the hair's kind of similar. It's easy to mistake the two.
Shot clock down to 5. Anderson's got to go. Crossing Oper. Oh, nice lay-in. Teardrop over Super with 1 on the clock.
And UND is even giving him a step. They're kind of daring him to shoot, and that doesn't matter. Boogie Anderson's doing a great job of getting to that paint and hitting those floaters. His size is really paying off tonight.
Oh, good defense that time on Panome, beating him to the spot for Boogie Anderson. Sartsidze has only made 1 3 on the season, and that one comes up short.
He makes those in practice. He just hasn't been able to translate that in a game so far.
Now 1 of 19 from long range. Goodrick, nice spin move on Suk. Points against North Dakota State. That was probably his best game so far to date.
Yeah, he's getting more and more comfortable out there. But back to this South Dakota offense, every single point that they've scored so far in this game has been in the paint. I appreciate the way that they find something that works and then stick with it. But for UND, it's definitely been more the balanced approach on their offensive end.
Eric Oliver checking in for the first time, along with Damani Hayes, the senior out of Mankato. His 10th appearance. Sartsidze banging inside now with Nikola Zizic, who's also checked in for South Dakota. Grant with 5 on the shot clock, and that one pretty close to rimming in, but popped out.
And they're giving him a step. I think he's going to be able to make those by the end of the year, but that's just part of any young player's growth, is just trusting that shot. Archambault fired that 3. Another long rebound tracked down by Oliver. You talked about Grant. When you see him shoot it in practice, you see him shoot warm up. I mean, they're flying in, but he's only been able to hit 1 so far this season. Yeah, it's a pretty shot, and I think it's just going to come down to confidence and reps, and the more he plays, the more comfortable he's going to get on the floor.
Shot clock down to 3. Oliver, elbow jumper, splash. Eric Oliver, the transfer from Laramie Community College, an NJCAA honorable mention. And we're tied up at 17. Bonago strong to the rim. Got his own miss. Scrum on the floor, and a jump will stay with North Dakota.
Just a great job by South Dakota there. Going straight up. They have the right to verticality. Meeting Bonago at the rim, who's been doing a good job of finishing around the rim, just not quite on that time. But UND retains possession.
Shot clock reset to 18. Norman going to work. Nice shot, flipping back to that right hand over Oliver.
Really tough shot. Obviously, when he gets a shot, everybody's thinking 3, and so he gives a little love fake, puts the ball on the floor, behind the back, and a tough floater.
Boy, tough shot there. Working off the screen and dropping it in was Pero Hunt.
Just a beautiful job reading that screen. His defender tried to go under, so that's why he popped. Made himself available at the 3-point line.
Another guy that really grew up last year. Just improved so much. Played a huge role for South Dakota. And Zizic going to be called for the foul as he was locked up underneath with Sartsidze. Here comes Matthews into the game with Bruns and Bonago, and Sartsidze heads to the bench. Boogie Anderson in for Pero Hunt.
So both these teams really dipping into their bench here. Great effort to start. Let's see what their bench has to offer.
Turnover there for North Dakota. First turnover of the night. South Dakota also only has 1, so both teams doing a pretty good job taking care of the ball. Good strong move to the rim there by Archambault.
Just a beautiful job rejecting that ball screen. UND was really assuming he was going to use that ball screen. He rejected it, and that help side defense couldn't get there in time.
Danielson crossing over on Hayes. Boy, that's a nice move by Brady Danielson. Excellent job with the bounce and dropping it in.
How about that? That's not something we normally see out of Brady Danielson, but very under control, using his size to get to that rim. Nice floater.
Matthews trying to hang there with Zizic. Blocking him, and a foul is going to be called. Zizic will head to the line, where he is 7 of 12 so far this season. Nikola from Montenegro.
Well, I think the first thing about that possession was Zizic got great position before he even got the catch. And so when he gets a catch, if he's this deep, all it takes is 1 or 2 dribbles, and Matthews buried. Pretty good job defensively. But because Zizic went to the hoop, that able to create just enough contact to draw that foul. But there's definitely some foul trouble amongst that UND front court here in this first half. Suker with 2, now 1 for Matthews.
Panoan back into the game with Piero Hunt. Zizic, a guy that always takes shots close to the basket. Came in 24 of 32 from the field for 75%. So that at least when he gets in there and puts it up, usually goes in.
And he's not going to play the most minutes, but he's going to be impactful when he's in there.
Did have 10 points against Nebraska back in November, so he's a capable guy in the post. 2-point lead for the Yotes. Ticking down towards 8 minutes to go, and a travel on Panoan.
Just got going a little too quickly there. Didn't quite complete the catch. But there you see the ball kind of sticking on one side of the floor. I think Coach Taylor would like to see that ball flow from one side to the other, put a little bit more pressure on that defense.
Anderson spinning on Bruns. Boy, Boogie Anderson has had his way when he's gotten inside so far tonight.
And the trouble is UND knows what's coming, but they can't really stop it. You can tell they're playing him for that, and he's still able to finish. That just goes to show how skilled he is.
Shot clock down towards 12. Danielson getting inside on Hayes. He's cut off. Shot clock down to 4. Norman's going to cast, and it's short.
Really beautiful defensive possession there by South Dakota. They were in several scramble positions, and they were able to come away with a good stop.
Oliver off on that 3-point attempt, and Matthews a good box out. Panoam in transition for 3, and he's got 3 of them. Bentu Panoam, a perfect 3 of 3 from long range, and he leads North Dakota with 9 points so far here in the first half.
Well, we talked about how he's been struggling from the 3-point line coming into this game, but he's seen a couple go in. That gives him all the confidence in the world. And if you're going to let him walk in back, but not quite far enough to win.
After the foul, South Dakota will inbound. 5 team fouls on North Dakota. Piero Hunt fouled by Norman, and he'll head to the line for 1.
Well, Norman was just trailing that play a little bit too much, and Piero Hunt with the beautiful up fake and finishing through the contact. Beautiful screen by Boogie Anderson there. That was really the catalyst to the whole play. But Mitchell Suker back into the game here with 2 fouls. And again, everything that South Dakota gets is in the paint.
Piero Hunt finishes off a 3-point play, and South Dakota now up to a 4-point lead. Panoam has really had the hot hand for North Dakota in this first half. Fighting Hawks continue to work it around the perimeter. Bruns pull up in the lane, and that one rattles around and off. Piero Hunt back quickly for USD. Oh, look at the shaking and baking for Piero Hunt. Zizic with the offensive board and put back.
It's a tough situation there for UND, obviously having to give the help defense, but that also pulled them out of rebounding position, and South Dakota made them pay.
Tartsidze trying to go to work on Zizic with that right shoulder, spins back to the hook. Boy, that's a tough shot over a very tall defender.
Very patient post up there, and he did a good job of sort of leaning into Zizic a little bit before he shot that jump hook that kind of put him on his heels and really just didn't allow him to jump.
Goodrick keeping the dribble alive, looking to attack Suker. Double came, and Panoam may have gotten a hand on that and stolen by Tartsidze.
And UND is definitely giving more help on those post-ups than they were to start out the game. I think that's definitely an adjustment that we're seeing here. Probably a wise one on UND's part.
Bruns cut off by Anderson. How about Bruns? Nice pull-up shot. 2 Coyotes in the area, and Paul Bruns now up to 4 points.
And we're seeing his game expand beyond the 3-point line where he started. Beautiful job rejecting that screen against South Dakota's best defender.
Piero Hunt pull up over Norman. Boy, that's a tough shot for Piero Hunt.
Well, it's just amazing how a great individual effort can sort of rescue a possession that didn't seem to be going anywhere. A little stagnant there, not a whole lot of movement, but a great move out of Piero Hunt.
He is now up to 9 points. Scored a little bit everywhere so far. Suker turned it over, and Boogie Anderson on the run out. And Boogie throws it down.
UD has been doing a great job taking care of the ball there. That's really the first live ball turnover they had. And we saw why it's so important not to turn the ball over. South Dakota doing a great job of converting that to a real easy 2.
We're going to get a foul. I think they're going to call it on Piero Hunt, trying to work through a screen on Suker.
Yep, that's going to be a play we're going to have to watch tonight, because South Dakota's being very physical with how they get through screens. And they're definitely walking the line between what's legal and what's not, and they should. They're doing a really good job of getting through those screens, and it's disrupting what UND is trying to do on offense.
Bonago checking back in with Danielson. Bruns finding an opening, creating a little space. Good defense. That time by Archambault, who might have taken a shot in the mouth from Bruns. Piero Hunt keeping the drive alive, hesitating. Yeah, here this evening. South Dakota with the basketball, leading by 6. Three-pointer miss. Goodrick kept it alive. 3 Fighting Hawks in the area. Now Piero Hunt missed a clean look for 3, and the Fighting Hawks got a little lucky that time. Bonago trying to work around Boogie Anderson. Backing him down, fading away, tough shot. And Goodrick secures another board. His 6th rebound already here in the first half.
We talk so much about at the top, field goal percentage. It's an important barometer for this game. Both teams over 50% right now.
Bonago trying to muscle him up inside. Piero Hunt has it crawl over the rim, spin around, and goes. Piero Hunt now up to 11 points for South Dakota.
Well, that's where South Dakota's done all their damage, and I'm going to keep talking about it until UND forces them to do something else, but everything in the paint right now. I think UND's going to probably have to start giving a little bit more help on those post-ups.
Bonago working around a screen. He shoots over Hunt. Strong on that attempt. And Piero Hunt with the board.
And credit South Dakota. UND is getting some decent looks, but because of how physical South Dakota is, UND's just a little uncomfortable on offense.
Offensive rebound off the miss. Piero Hunt. Camateros! Ending without fouling. Well, they do have 5 team fouls, but North Dakota no free throw attempts in this first half.
Yep, and nobody in foul trouble for South Dakota, which is really probably the most important takeaway, so they can keep that rotation nice and tight like they like.
Danielson is going to try to end this run, and he's short on that 3-point attempt. Goodrick has been all over the glass, his 8th rebound.
And here's another possession for South Dakota here. I think everybody kind of knows what's coming. Eventually they want to get that ball in the post.
Anderson on the freshman Bruns, singled up, no help comes. And Anderson spins. They have lost a little bit on the way up. Well off the mark.
And obviously rebounding is going to have to be a team effort for UND, especially when they have this lineup on the floor. It's particularly small. But UND's forced to go to this lineup with the foul trouble that they're in with their front line.
South Dakota continues to sizzle, as you mentioned, 55% now in this opening half. UND around 45%. And Panoam 3 of 4 from the field and perfect 3 of 3 from long range. So Sidze posting. Camateros trying to body him up. Good D. May have altered that shot, maybe got a piece of it going up, was Camateros on the air ball.
But you got to like that look. I mean, Sotne has been proven to be able to knock that down, and I think at a time when UND is struggling a little bit on offense here, that's a great place to start. Force South Dakota to bring that double.
9-0 run here for the Yotes, and a foul is going to be called on Bruns.
Like I said, that UND lineup right now is pretty small. You have Bruns guarding Goodrich. It's a really good job by UND identifying, or by South Dakota rather, to identify that matchup, understand where they have that plus matchup in the post and go right to it.
Suker and Norman will check back in for UND. Danielson to the bench, along with Bonago. North Dakota has had these stretches where they have struggled offensively and then defensively. And right now a 4-minute scoreless drought for the Hawks.
And this is the problem with giving up 50% plus on the field goal. You can't afford any dry spells on offense. It gives you basically no margin of error, and every team has a little dry spell from time to time.
Well, that's a tough look for Bruns. Cometeros was in the way, and Bruns trying to slice between the two defenders and unable to get a good shot attempt off. Piero Hunt in transition. Quick trigger, and then almost a turnover. It was read perfectly by Archambault, but he kind of slipped and fell as the ball went off his hands.
Well, you know, South Dakota really almost kind of bailed out UND there because Bentu wasn't looking for that pass. Very fortunate for UND.
Boy, North Dakota needs someone to break this dry spell. Suker, and they're
obviously a smaller team already, and their best post players in foul trouble here. So you can about guess where this ball is going to go on this possession.
South Dakota a chance to really extend things here before the halftime horn. Piero Hunt had it go off, I think, his thigh and out of bounds, and he was kind of tangled up with Bruns, and he wanted a whistle. So North Dakota can play for the final shot in this first half as Igbanago checks back in. I'm getting some instructions here from Paul Sather. Bruns looking for somewhere to go with it. Panone comes out to provide some relief. So it's Sidze with 11. Going to work on Cometeros. He's fading away with 5, and it rims off. Goodrick out to Piero Hunt. He lets it fly from half court.
UND, first 5 minutes of any second half is important, but particularly for UND, who has seen games kind of go this way in their last 3 games. So important for them to kind of draw a line in the sand and decide that they're going to fight and try to find their way here. Starting out the second half with a nice defensive stop.
One other game in progress in the Summit League on a makeup, and that is Kansas City and Omaha, and the Kangaroos lead by 3, 33-30 after the first 20 minutes down in Kansas City. North Dakota State and Denver will tip off here momentarily out in Denver. Suker way off the mark. Sartsidze with the offensive board, cutting inside and turned over. Tipped away by Goodrick. Anderson on the attack again. I'll pull it back out. We got a mismatch underneath right now with Panone. And Anderson, nice body control and the teardrop.
And that's just so tough. Nobody's proven to be able to stay in front of Boogie Anderson there. And he's lucky he made that there, because you're right. They did have a great matchup in the post that he ignored.
And a turnover on Bruns as he shuffled the feet after collecting the pass. Just the 5th turnover on North Dakota tonight. A 13-point lead, largest of the evening here for USD. Archambault give it up to Goodrick with 12 on the shot clock, and Goodrick, it's going to be foul called, and I think they're going to get Suker. Suker's going to be whistled for that foul. Panone put his hand up trying to collect it, but that'll be the 4th personal on Mitchell Suker, who's just had a night to forget here against USD. And
you better believe that was intentional by South Dakota, targeting him on that possession. They needed to get him out of the game, and they succeeded doing that.
Archambault catch and shoot off the inbounds. North Dakota's gonna have to find a way to generate some offense here. You foul away from the ball on Piero Hunt for holding Matt Norman.
And that screen at the top of the key is really sort of the crux of the entire UND offense, and South Dakota's been doing a great job sort of gumming that up, fighting through those screens. So important for UND to remain determined to still cut through the contact. They'll draw fouls if they do. If they don't, they'll be bumped off the cut. Great backdoor cut there for Paul Bruns to the front of the rim.
Nice find there from Sartsidze, and that gets North Dakota on the board. It ends a long scoring drought. Double comes on Cometeros. Pass picked off by Danielson. Danielson around Piero Hunt, and they're going to get a block. And 2 free throws, I believe, coming up here for Danielson.
Well, on defense, clearly that's a huge adjustment by UND, doubling the post, getting the ball out of Kamateras' hands, and jumping that skip pass, getting out in transition here. And a good job by Brady Danielson to just Euro step just barely enough to put his defender just out of legal guarding position and get into the rim, getting to that free throw line, something that UND really didn't do in that first half.
Danielson misses the first, and that is the 3rd foul on Piero Hunt, so we'll see if Todd Lee decides to stick with him. Danielson misses both free throws, and those were the only 2 attempts so far tonight for North Dakota.
Well, we talked about one of the biggest keys tonight for South Dakota is be able to play defense without fouling, and they've been succeeding.
Anderson trying to create a little space there on the freshman Bruns. Marchambeau had an open look there for a minute. Now they're going to get Norman for the push on Piero Hunt.
Piero Hunt's such a smart player, always heads up. He understands that after that initial UCLA cut through, that took the help side defense with him, and that's why the baseline penetration was available. That's why he took it.
Sartsidze singled up on Kamateros. Now Bruns comes with a double. Good ball rotation for South Dakota. Good help defense for UND. Piero Hunt spinning, fading, no. Offensive rebound. Goodrick puts it back up and in.
And that was a pretty good defensive possession for UND. Doubled the post, got it out, got the initial stop, but didn't get the rebound. They have to cash the check when they get a nice stop like that.
Norman floating over Kamateros. And Matt Norman has his first bucket here in the second half. He's up to 7 points.
And every time UND has the ball in offense, everybody at home should be focusing at that screen at the top of the key. That's where the possession is won or lost.
They're going to get an offensive foul away from the ball, illegal screen on Boogie Anderson. And that's his 3rd personal foul. So Oliver will check in for Piero Hunt, and we'll see if Todd Lee decides to stick with Boogie Anderson and those 3 fouls on the floor. Runs using a screen, pulling up, high, arcing, strong. Sartsidze up high for the rebound. Igbanago, strong move to the rim, but Oliver there to swat it out of bounds.
And even though Igbanago got blocked there, you have to like that level of aggression. That's what it takes to win this game. A lot of times he'll either make that or get to the free throw line. If he gets blocked, no harm, no foul, because they still retain possession. But a very good defensive play by South Dakota to be able to go up and meet that one at the rim.
Kamateros heading to the bench as Damani Hayes checks in for USD. Bruns off the inbound, fires a 3 and connects.
Well, he's becoming the player at the top of everybody's scouting report, and he's not going to get many clean looks. That's about as clean as it gets, and he made it pay, knocking down a 3. Let's see if he can get himself going here.
Down to an 8-point lead. Archambeau trying to answer on the other end. That rims off. Bruns secures the board.
Much better defensive possession there out of UND, but it's been a couple possessions since there's been a point touch.
Danielson swooping in for that offensive board. He'll kick it out, and Igbanago for 3. That spins around and off. Pretty good look for Igbanago, as North Dakota could have cut it to 5 had that dropped. Anderson using Goodrick, and Pannone maneuvering through a couple of different bodies. Tough matchup underneath for Pannone. Anderson finally missed one. Offensive rebound for Hayes. 2 Fighting Hawks had their hands on it. Now Archambeau slipping inside. And almost taken away by Sartsidze with 8 on the shot clock. 8-point game. North Dakota trying to fight their way back into it, but the Coyotes still on top here. Nearly 5 minutes gone in this first half.
How you move matters.
Against North Dakota State, he is still not quite back doing a lot yet, but it is good to just see him walk. He was shooting around a little bit earlier. And I'll tell you what, man, that kid was so dynamic. And between he and Stanley Mude last year, South Dakota was almost impossible to guard.
And I don't know what's been more impressive, his production last year or his ability to keep a positive attitude through this incredibly difficult time that he's been going through, just really tedious going through all the rehab.
Hayes and Danielson got caught up, and nice shot there from Archambault.
Nice little set play, and that's what he does best. You know, that mid-range jumper and his ability to elevate really makes him difficult to guard. Nice set play there after South Dakota had a couple empty possessions in a row.
Bonago keeping the drive alive. Strong move to the rim, and Sotene Sartsidze with the putback and the foul.
And that's why the previous possession, why it's so important to go hard at the rim every single time. Even though Ethan Bonago didn't make that, because he went so hard, he drew that help side defense, which opened up the offensive rebounding opportunities for Sotene. Slowly but surely, UND is climbing back in this game. That lead isn't growing for UND.
Sartsidze finishes off the three-point play, the first made free throw of the night for UND. It took nearly 25 minutes to get it. Lead back to 7. Archambault was going to give it up. Goodrick wasn't looking for it. Now Bruns out in transition, and a foul is going to be called.
I mean, both of these teams played big games on the road 2 nights ago, and here they turn around and very few turnovers, very few fouls. They've been knocking down some shots. This is a highly played game, high skill level game here.
We're going to get Panoam a foul away from the ball.
Boy, if you want to cut in this game, you better be convinced it's what you want to do, because both teams are testing their cutters. Nobody's able to move freely.
Anderson able to inbound it into Hayes. Hayes setting the screen for Archambault, and Danielson with the switch. Shot clock down to 7. Archambault gets it out to Anderson. Runs on him with 3. Anderson, strong move to the rim again, and Boogie Anderson late in the shot clock connects.
Man, every time it seems like it's that right to left crossover and a fade. There again, UND switching ball screens. I think South Dakota was trying to target that, but it ended up just being a great play by Boogie Anderson.
Bonago going to work on Oliver. Tipped and kept alive there. Nice job by Danielson, great hustle. Panoam finds a lane. No, Sartsidze the rebound, up and in for 2.
And it's not pretty, but it's all effort for UND on that possession. They're simply just trying to find a way through this game, trying to find a way back into the lead, which remains at 5 here.
Oliver spinning back to the baseline. Bruns with the board. Almost lost it, and now we'll get it up to Danielson.
But like I talked about, you better be confident when you're cutting. You better be confident when you're rebounding. There's just a lot of contact going in there, but the game is being officiated pretty fairly. It's being consistently officiated.
That is the 6th team foul on South Dakota with 13:28 to go in the second half. How about Danielson?
That's just what he does. That's why he's out there. That's what he brings to this team. Extra effort, hustle, offensive rebounds, whatever his team needs to do, he'll do.
Danielson has played in more games than anybody else on the active roster for Paul Sather, and just brings a lot of that energy off the bench.
And especially now that his offense is coming around, he's getting a bigger and bigger role in this game and with this team.
Bonago carried it. Just hesitated a minute and kind of got the ball in his hip. And Mark Riggs whistles him for the carry. Matt Norman will come in for Bonago.
So the question that Coach Sather has to be thinking now is, how long do I rest Mitchell Suker? Because you kind of go back and forth between, all right, if I sit him for so long, you know, that ankle is going to stiffen up. He's going to get a little out of the rhythm of the game, and then you bring him back, and then is he as effective as he would be? Or do you just let him play a little bit, and if he falls out, so be it?
Double comes from Panoam. North Dakota's done more doubling. As Pierre Hunt backs down Panoam. 2 experienced players going at it. That is a tough shot as Danielson came over to help.
And even kind of turned into the double and was still able to score around it. Very effective. He's just a really good, well-rounded player.
Norman for 3, no. Goodrick kept it alive and then picked up by Anderson. A lot of bodies getting tangled up, and now Boogie Anderson fouled by Panoam.
The second half.
North Dakota hanging in there on the glass. -2. 9-0 boards, though, for UND in this contest. South Dakota, very good rebounding team. Nice cut inside. Nice find from Goodrick, and 2 more from Piero Hunt.
Well, anytime there's a dead ball, USD is elite. They're not good, they're elite.
And Piero Hunt's going to be called for his 4th foul.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, South Dakota has been extremely physical with those cuts. It's been to their advantage. They've been gaining an advantage by it.
And that'll get Oliver right off the bench.
But if that continues to get called a foul, obviously that can really turn the game. Not only is UND going to shoot free throws, but now South Dakota is going to lose one of their biggest advantages, and that's how they've been able to disrupt UND's cuts.
Not only that, with Piero Hunt, he is such a talented scorer. And now Norman, an opportunity in a one-on-one here.
Well, the only thing that takes Piero Hunt off the floor is foul trouble. Otherwise, he'd be playing the whole game. And more continued free throw problems for UND. Only 3 of 5 tonight.
And Norman, usually pretty reliable at 76%, but misses the front end there, and a chance to cut the lead down from 9. Comateros, that double comes. Archambault has a lane open up as he attacks and scores again on Panome.
And that's exactly what South Dakota's going to have to do against this doubling defense. Invite the double and then kick it out of it and attack.
Archambault, 6 points. That rattles off. Bruns, put back, no. Danielson swoops in for a board. Panome for 3, no. 3 pretty decent looks as Danielson. Dakota hosts Denver and Omaha this coming weekend, while North Dakota also is home hosting Western Illinois and St. Thomas.
As UND was able to get that lead down to 5, they've been able to come up with a couple big offensive rebounds, kicking them out to 3. They haven't been able to make it. And South Dakota's been able to push that lead back up to 11, where it was to start that second half.
Another offensive rebound, kick out from Goodrick. Oliver has it spin around and off. And Sartside secures the defensive board. Approaching the midway point of the second half. Danielson fouled, and Comateros is going to pick it up, and another 1-and-1 opportunity here for the Hawks. We've talked about North Dakota's limited amount of free throw attempts. Well, South Dakota only has 4 attempts, and are 3 of 4 from the line.
And that's what we're talking about. It's been a pretty clean game up to this point. Obviously, the last probably 2 minutes have been a little chaotic, but before then, you know, not a lot of fouls, not a lot of turnovers. That's exactly what you want to see out of a college basketball game, particularly on basically one night's rest.
Danielson coming in right at 50% from the line, hits the front end of the 1-and-1. One of 2 at the stripe again, and North Dakota not been able to take advantage of some of these opportunities here lately. Just 4 of 8 from the stripe. Danielson still trying to battle in there with Goodrick. Oliver creating space, had it stripped away. Danielson tried to find Bruns and threw it away.
Well, Paul Bruns normally does a great job running to that corner, but Brady Danielson just leading him a little bit too much. How about Brady Danielson trying to bail out his team, who's in deep foul trouble with their front court. He's guarding a much bigger Goodrick there.
Goodrick, bounce pass inside. Archambault fouled, and the basket.
Just a really determined cut. Got to the block. Just that block-to-block screen. Nothing too complicated. That's where South Dakota started this game. That's where their advantages has been, and they're just living right there, daring UND to guard them and the block.
Archambault knocks down the free throw, and that extends the lead back to 13 for the Yotes as we approach the 10-minute mark here in the second half. Panome able to save that pass from going out of bounds. Bruns with 10. Pulling up, tough shot, left hand, strong. Archambault swoops in for the rebound.
Really nice shot by South Dakota, sitting on that left hand by Paul Bruns. And how about that layup in transition for Mason Archambault? That's a big time move in between 2 fighting Hawks with the left.
Shambo really starting to heat up now. The third Yote into double figures with 11 points. Air ball picked up by Panoam. Largest lead of the night here for South Dakota. Sartside tried the alley-oop on the pass there from Norman.
And you're right, this is a little bit of a danger zone here for UND. Obviously not the most explosive offense, but that lead up to 15. Clearly South Dakota's content just running a little clock here, eventually working their way into the post.
North Dakota just one of its last 10 from the field. Sucre will come back in with those 4 fouls along with Igbanago, and Norman and Sartsidze will head to the bench. $12 points for Boogie Anderson, 11 for Archambault, and a game-high 15 for Piero Hunt, who is also on the bench right now with 4 fouls. And a foul is called on Panoam as Archambault got him up in the air with a nice fake.
Well, Panoam just got caught trailing the play a little bit too far, and obviously he had to gamble and try to block the shot because he was so far behind. Mason Archambault doing a great job reading that screen and where his defender was. All it took was a simple little up fake, and he got to the free throw line. Really a great second half here for Mr. Archambault.
Excellent free throw shooter, 90% on the season. And he's a perfect 3 of 3 as he knocks down the front end of the 1-and-1.
I think one of the biggest questions that South Dakota had coming into this year is obviously no A.J. Plitzowite, so who takes over that lead guard role? A lot of really good complementary guards. Pearl Hunt, Xavier Fuller. But now if you add in Mason Archambault, that's quite a combination of guards there for South Dakota.
Archambault, originally from Rapid City, South Dakota, coming over from Gillette College last year, his first year with Coyotes. Runs, launches, and rattles it in, and a foul is called as Goodrick sent Danielson to the floor.
Like Brady Danielson, every single time the ball goes in there, he is going kamikaze into that lane, and it's causing South Dakota some problems. I mean, it hasn't necessarily translated to some points there, but Paul Bruns, again, another open look by his standards. And a big opportunity for a 5-point trip here for UND when the game looked to be getting away from them a little bit. Lead down to 14 now. Chance to move it to 12.
Bruns, 2 of 4 from 3-point range, 5 of 14 overall as Danielson comes up off on the free throw attempt again.
And I really think that free throw line, when UND looks back on this game, it's just a big missed opportunity from the free throw line.
Danielson, 1 of 5 at the stripe. Materos knows Sucre has those 4 fouls. Ball fake, almost taken away and then stolen away by Danielson.
How about that? Another steal by Brady Danielson. I mean, whenever that ball is loose, look for him.
Bruns going to work on Oliver. Has some length in there as they post up the freshman. And he's got 5 straight for North Dakota to cut the lead to 12.
Strong post up. Like we said, it's do or die right now for UND. They're looking to make a game of this. Lead down to 12.
Got to be able to get stops. Materos kicks it out. Archambault. Goodrick missed it, and then a foul.
That they pretty much play 2 posts at all time, and that other post is coming hard. Because if South Dakota misses, it's usually equal and opposite, and they're able to clean up the offensive rebound. It's obviously been a big part of what they've done tonight, and something that UND has struggled with pretty much all season here, but big couple minutes if UND wants to make this a game.
A 14-point lead here for the Oats. Sucre trying to go to work on Materos. Double comes from, almost thrown away. The double comes from Archambault. Grant with 4. Sucre has to let it fly. Didn't get it off in time, and it's a shot clock violation.
And what a time for South Dakota's best defensive possession of the night. Really had UND on their heels the entire possession. They really weren't able to go anywhere on offense. Just absolutely suffocating defense here, trapping the ball screen. Great presence of mind with where the clock was too. most importantly, doing it without fouling, something that has been a problem for them the second half, but UND really hasn't been able to make them pay by not converting from the free throw line.
Goodrick. Danielson's done a pretty good job on him, but Goodrick's been tough to keep off the glass tonight. Sartsidze checked by Kamateros. Short jumper a little bit long by Tassos. Runs on the run. Pannone on the attack, and he is fouled by Archambault, and Pannone will head to the line for 2.
And that's one part of UND's offense that they've actually been pretty good at tonight. When they do get a stop and they do get a rebound, they've been able to push in transition, where it's the primary break or the secondary break. They catch South Dakota in a little bit of a scramble situation, because when that South Dakota defense gets set, they're tough to score against. I like how UND's been pushing it. The problem is they have to get a stop and a rebound to be able to push it.
Boy, the free throw shooting woes continue now for North Dakota. 4 of 10 from the stripe.
And that's not even accounting for a couple missed front ends of one-on-ones too, so it's really more like 4 of about 11 or 12 in terms of the points that they've left out there from the free throw line, and another one.
Panoam, normally pretty reliable, and as a team, North Dakota 73%, usually pretty good, 5th in the Summit League, but it's just been a rough night. Anderson, he's been tough to handle in the paint. Double comes. Piero Hunt has checked back into the game. Tassos Kamateros barely drew iron off the front of the rim. Bonigo on the attack. Danielson, the offensive board. Spinning back to that left, no. Goodrick, his 17th rebound.
Again, UND just can't buy a bucket, whether it's from the free throw line or layups. And a lot of that credit has to go to South Dakota. I mean, their level of physicality has UND kind of questioning themselves a little bit on some of these finishes, maybe playing a little bit on their heels. I think the credit really has to go to the South Dakota defense.
Kamateros tracks down that pass. This is a spot on the floor that Anderson's been able to get to the rim. Spinning, fading, scoring again, and Anderson a look towards the bench. 14 points for Boogie.
Man, when he gets going, that right to left crossover and a jump stop, UND hasn't had an answer for that the entire night. He scored 4 or 5 times easily, if not more, on that same move.
Bonigo hesitates, shoots the 3. Anderson battling for the loose ball, but it'll stay with North Dakota. 5:19 to go here in the contest. Boogie Anderson putting on the brakes, spinning around and thrown in another 2.
There it is, that right to left crossover, getting right into the middle of the paint, and he's patient, gets his defender in the air, and that's like a layup for him.
Bruns corner 3, yes.
Paul Bruns is quickly becoming one of the brightest stars in this conference, one of the best scorers, but he can't do it himself. He's trying to do it in the second half here, 16 points for him. But they need to match it with some stops on this end, and right now, you know, 13-point lead, 5 minutes left, you start doing the math.
Anderson out to Kamateros, wide open look again for 3. Piero Hunt there for the putback. Goodrick will head to the line for 2 as he continues to just hammer the glass.
Well, just kind of a tough situation for UND there. Obviously, 2 guys running at the shooter. That means one South Dakota Coyote is going to be unblocked out. And unfortunately, that cost UND. And man, Goodrick has been going to work on the boards tonight. Simply incredible. 17, do I have that right? 17 rebounds? Unbelievable.
Actually 18 now.
18.
That was his 18th. They haven't added to the book yet.
Man, what a monster performance out of him.
And his first career double-double against Tennessee State earlier this season, 12 points, 11 boards. And now up to 7 points to go along with those 18 rebounds. North Dakota needs points in a hurry. 4.5 to go. Pannone back to get it. Anderson sticking right with him. Pannone, little scoop shot, but he's fouled and will head to the line for 2.
And South Dakota is doing such a good job of getting through those screens right now. A lot of those UND screens aren't landing. South Dakota is able to get themselves in between the screener and the ball handler, and that's screwing everything up for UND. That's why you don't see any Fighting Hawks coming open. Those screens just aren't landing right now because of USD's level of physicality here.
Panome knocks it down. Bentu out there with 4 fouls. Suker has those 4 fouls. Piro Hunt, the only Yote really in any serious foul trouble with 4. Panome hits both. And Bentu now into double figures with 11. South Dakota content here to run a little bit of clock. Both teams in the bonus.
It's with stops. They can't let the lead get any bigger, but really the more important part is UND's best offense has been what they've been able to get in transition. In the few opportunities that they've actually had to get out in transition, it's actually looked pretty good. And so it's just about stops and scores. That's really the only way forward for UND.
Archambault, kind of a slow first half, but he has really picked it up. He's up to 14 points. Good balanced effort for South Dakota here tonight. Norman had to pick it up as Camateros switched over. And the foul's going to be called on Tassos Camateros, and Sartsidze will head to the line for 2.
He's been doing a great job battling down there tonight with Mitchell Suker almost non-existent from this game. Sotne growing up, getting a little bit more comfortable. They're able to rely on him a little bit more. Finally adjusting that level of physicality in the Summit League. And particularly in this game, he's doing better and better.
So CJ knocks in the free throw. Piro Hunt will come back in for Anderson with those 4 fouls for Piro Hunt. Boy, Boogie's really been the difference tonight. 7 of 10 from the floor, 14 points.
And he's really been the only player in this game that's been able to get his own shot, right? All the other offenses came off of really just team offense, but it's really nice to have a player that you can just toss the ball to and he can go get 2 buckets.
Sartsidze up to 11 points and 7 rebounds. As North Dakota tries to pick up the defensive pressure, trailing by 12.
And that pressure, even more so than trying to create turnovers, is just trying to speed up South Dakota. But South Dakota doing a great job of breaking that zone, there's that pressure, and then setting their offense, running their offense, using plenty of clock, trying to shrink this game, take out a couple possessions here. Tough matchup here. Brady Danielson on Tassos.
Oliver flying in, had a pretty good look on the pass. Danielson able to secure the loose ball.
Just a much better job in the second half by UND on the post.
McBonigo cut off. McBonigo step back 3 and knocks it down, and that cuts it to single digits at 67-58.
UND had to have it. Great read of the screen by Ethan McBonigo. His defender went under. That's why he popped and knocked it down. It's been a little quiet so far tonight, but when they need him the most, he's able to knock down that 3.
Go.
Right off the gas. Here comes the ISO for Boogie Anderson here.
Goodrick on that high post. Pretty good passer for a big man. Piro Hunt with 4. Norman trying to double comes. Kid got with 1. Tassos Camateros at the buzzer. Missed the 3. North Dakota will try to make something happen in a hurry. Bruns in transition for 3. No. Sartsidze back up and couldn't get it to go, but he'll head to the line for 2.
Now this UND defense has been impressive. Let me reiterate. You haven't been able to say that a whole lot this year. In the second half, UND's defense has been very good. How they're doubling the post, doesn't matter who. Getting the ball in their hands, forcing that corner 3, then Bruns in transition. Again, that South Dakota defense before it gets set. There's been opportunities, particularly on the offensive grass there. Sotne just really working hard, making himself available, going to the glass every time, and then it hasn't been pretty here. But bit by bit, UND's getting that stop and score like we've talked about. Still 2 minutes, 11 seconds left. Plenty of time here.
Camateros set up, had a pretty good look with 1 on the shot clock, and Tassos will head to the bench. 10 points, 3 of 10 from the floor, 2 of 7 from 3. Sartsidze knocks down both to trim the lead to 7. 2:11 left. The Fighting Hawks have improved now to at least 10 of 17 from the line. Not great, but still better.
South Dakota in the middle of a bit of a drought here. Where do they go for the biggest bucket of the game?
Double coming from McBonigo, and Archambault able to get rid of it. Hero Hunt will slow it down as we're under 2 to go. Hero Hunt been on the bench a lot in the second half with those fouls. Pull-up jumper. Oh, pure from Hero Hunt over Sarcide.
Well, they got the switch they want. Hero Hunt with the pull-up. That's a great idea where to go for the biggest shot in the game. We were wondering to break that scoreless drought.
Another foul is called, and Matt Norman will have the line for 2. So a chance at least here for UND to get some points while the clock is stopped.
Clearly, there's a lot of physicality with the rebounds there, going both ways. But again, like I said, the game has been officiated fairly good, but there's no question there's a lot of contact going on there. It's hard. It's kind of hard to decipher what's good basketball, what's fouls. Obviously, both teams are really shooting a lot of free throws this half here. Coach Sather just wanted making sure that it's on the official's mind to be looking for that because there is a lot of contact.
Todd Lee shouting out instructions on this possession. Norman able to connect. So North Dakota's been able to salvage some free throw attempts here down the stretch. Now up to 12 of 19 from the stripe. And Oliver able to get it up to Tassos Kamateros. And Oliver will head to the line. 81% on the season. Bruns is going to be called for it. And Oliver, a guy that could really fill it up in the junior college ranks. Averaged 21 a game last season over at Laramie Community College. And of course, as I say that, he misses the free throw.
Well, he's another guy that, can really play. I mean, you got to like his skill set. Obviously, being a lefty, that always makes him a little bit harder to guard. But as most of these players are, like we talked about with Sotne and with a couple of these other players, it takes a little bit to transition to this league. This is an extremely high level of basketball. And I don't think people at home can really appreciate just how good these players are, and it's hard for anybody to play at this level.
Well, Oliver misses both, so South Dakota a chance to extend the lead, unable to do so. 7-point lead. Bruns for 3, spun around and off. Danielson another offensive board. Igbonigo cut off. Norman for 3, no. Another offensive rebound, Bruns. Igbonigo gave it up. Bruns turned it over. A steal by Oliver, and he'll get it up to Hero Hunt. Hero Hunt has a man all by himself underneath the basket, and a tie-up, and it'll go to North Dakota.
Just an unbelievable set of circumstances there in a scramble situation. What a job by UND to not foul there, to actually grab the ball. A lot of players hitting the deck, a lot of frustration sort of bubbling to the surface for UND. How many times have we seen them have clean looks in the second half and not be able to knock it down, whether that was off of an offensive rebound or just the normal course of the offense? UND just hasn't been able to buy a 3 in the second half, but they get a stop there, however means they did it. Got a tie up. Another offensive possession here, 45 seconds left.
Norman to the basket, blocked by Kamateros, and a foul is called.
I like that attack, not settling for a 3, even though it's a 7-point game, not settling. Getting to the free throw line, can they convert? It's going to allow them to set up their defense, allow them to get organized as to who UND wants to foul here.
Not a lot of great options on the floor right now if you're UND to foul. Archambault 90%, Hero Hunt a good free throw shooter at 80%. Kamateros 12 of 14 at the line this season. Probably Goodrick would be the guy you do want to foul. He's only at 38%, but I would suspect he's not going to be handling the ball here. Reed Grant getting set to check in. And he will come in for Norman. And Goodrick will just head on down to the other side of the floor. Todd Lee doesn't want him to touch it. 5-point lead as North Dakota has come clawing back into this game to make it interesting in the last couple of minutes. Archambault will inbound. Hero Hunt.
Plenty of time. And for South Dakota, I think they did a really good job regrouping here. Drew Sparrow Hunt, who's been their leader this entire game, he's been the most consistent player, and he comes through with the 2 biggest free throws of this game, pushing it to a 3-possession game now.
Team high honors with 19. North Dakota has to work in a hurry. Bruns coming off the screen, trying to find space. Will drive inside, throw it up. No. Danielson has been all over the glass. Archambault drills it. Boogie Anderson back in the game for Kamateros. Norman in for Reed Grant. USD getting it done at the line. 15 of 19 from the stripe. 7-point game. And North Dakota needs points in a hurry. Bruns fouled. The last thing Todd Lee wanted was a foul, and one was whistled.
You're absolutely right. South Dakota was getting a good possession there. I mean, even if Paul Bruns would have went and laid that up, that's probably not that big of a deal given how much time had came off the clock there. 7-point lead for South Dakota. That's a 3-possession game.
Bruns working on a 19-point performance to go along with 8 rebounds. 7 of 19 from the floor. And now a perfect 3 of 3 from the line. Bruns hits both. Back to a 5-point game. Grant in for Norman again. Offensive, defensive substitution. Oliver will inbounds again. Again, all the guys in the backcourt there trying to get the basketball. All excellent free throw shooters. And our Shambo will head back there where he is a perfect 7 of 7 tonight.
It's like a security blanket for this team to have a point guard who's able to get himself open, get a catch, and knock down free throws. It's just not really opening up the door for UND right now. It's a trait of any good basketball team. Being able to make those free throws in a tough situation. You're on the road. You played the whole game. Legs a little tired. That doesn't seem to matter for Mason Archambault in this situation.
Both these teams only got a couple of days to get ready for their next league game, and that's the situation we're in. South Dakota will get home and have a short turnaround before they host a pair of home games, and North Dakota will quickly try to turn the page here and get ready for Western Illinois. Bruns battling for it. Goodrick is fouled with 3.6 left, and South Dakota is going to walk out of here with its first Summit League victory of the season.
What a job by South Dakota bouncing back from that tough game against their rival only 2 days ago to get on a bus, come up I-29, right? Win a game on the road in the conference. I can't tell you how impressive that is for them to bounce back and get this one.
And we talked about Goodrick has had his struggles at the line this season. But time is going to run out here on the Fighting Hawks. They try to rally back from 17 down to at least give themselves an opportunity, and Bonago let it fly at the buzzer. It will count, but it will not go.